Okay, today we'll look at some code on how to easily control what's speed and direction, whether you're spinning on the spot, whether you're turning tightly going backwards, or whether you're taking a big arc while going backwards, or whether you're going to do a small arc, a spin on the spot, or even start coming forward again in a tight little arc, or coming forward in a big arc. An easy way of coding and controlling that.
If we take our standard robot with two drive wheels and a little caster wheel at the back, if we want this robot to drive forward in a straight line at a certain speed, the left wheel and the right wheel have to go at exactly the same speed as the robot. If now we want the robot to drive in an arc, what happens is the left wheel has to go a much bigger distance than the right wheel. If we want to straighten these out into a straight line, we can see that the left wheel is much bigger than the right wheel. If we want to look at just what the difference is, you'll find that the left wheel increases exactly the same amount as the right wheel decreases. So this means if we want the robot to hold the same speed but start to turn, we need to add on to the left wheel the exact same amount we take off the right wheel, and we will maintain this speed. The more we add onto the left and take off the right, the tighter the turn will be, but the forward speed of the robot will remain the same.
Okay, now let's write some code to actually do that. I'm going to make my own block to make it easier to use it. I'm going to call it motor steer with power input. I'm going to call him power, add another label, percent with steer of another input. I'm going to call him steer. Okay, come across to our actions. Here's where we can set the power for the left wheel and the right wheel. So let's bring him in. Now we need to actually set the left wheel to be the power plus the steer. We need to set the right wheel to be the power minus the steer. So let's get some operators. We need a plus and we need a minus. One's going to be plus the steer, one's going to be minus the steer. What is it? It's power plus the steer and power minus the steer. Put that into there. Put that into there. Pretty simple block, but that will allow me to be able to control how quickly forward my robot goes and how quickly my robot turns. Here's the little program I wrote with it. Right, when my ranger starts up, he's just going to wait for 3 seconds. That allows me to turn him on and move back and get the camera going. I'm going to make a variable called speed, and it's going to be set to 40. It's going to repeat this loop here until speed equals -40. It's going to set the forward speed at that variable with steering of 15. It's going to wait 0.2 of a second, and then it's going to slow the speed down a bit and go around and set it again. So it'll just loop around each time, making it go slower and slower and slower from 40 to -40. So obviously going forward at 40 to going backwards at 40. Then it just goes in your second loop, and it's still, the speed is still set at -40. Now it's going to go around this loop again, doing exactly the same, but this time instead of getting one smaller, it gets one bigger, and it's going to go around until it gets to +40 and then stop at the end. So what happens is the whole time my steering stays at 15. So you should find that the robot always continually turns at exactly the same speed. But what happens is the motor slowly slows down, comes to a stop, then goes backwards, and then it starts going from backwards to forwards again, all the way through, and then stops at the end. So here it is in action. Notice that the speed at which it turns around always stays the same. Even when it gets quite slow, it'll spin on the spot. Starts going backwards, still always spins at the same speed. No matter how fast he goes backwards, he'll take exactly the same time to do one full loop. You can slow right down now, spin on the spot, and start coming forward, always spinning at the same speed. So now we know how to set our forward speed and to set our rotation speed.